Joining us now in the player escape room is a man who's been lining up the Victorian NPL for years. Please welcome to the show Avondale FC's goal scoring machine, Liam Boland. G'day, mate. How are you?
Good, thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me. How are you?
Great. I'm great, thanks. It's great to have you here, mate. And I hope I'm even half as good as you guys are at the moment. So your team, Avondale's flying high at the top of the table with 8 wins and a draw. Last week, taking Heidelberg back to school, smashing them 8-2. So far this season, you've scored 36 goals in 9 matches. What are they feeding you at Avenger Park?
Yeah, we've been flying this year. We're trying not to get too far ahead of ourselves because we have been in this position a couple of times and not brought home the goods. So I feel like we're a lot more grounded this year, staying humble with it and just, taking each game as it comes, even though it's the old cliche. It's kind of what we have to do with this group. And I think it's showed each week. We're trying to kill off teams, and once we get that second, third goal, it's we don't stop. So it's been pretty impressive.
Mate, a team's going well when the person I feel sorry for is your social media person who does the goal scorer posts, right? They're probably on double time, right, or time and a half, trying to get the all those goal scorers up with the way you guys have been going.
Yeah, we had a big cup win a couple of weeks ago. I think it was 17-0. And there was a few boys rested on the sidelines, and I was sitting next to the media man. He was having a bit of a sook after about 8 went in, and got to 17. So do feel sorry for him in that sense. But no, the media team puts out some good content, so it's good.
Oh, I love it. I think maybe when they got to 9 or 10, they could just put up a post saying to be continued or plus or something, and just added the goal scorers rather than individual photos. But look, mate, it's great to have attention to detail. But mate, I've heard plenty of times the lads refer to you as Limo, which is also your social handle, Limo9. Where does this come from?
Just my first name, really. When I moved over here, actually, because I'm from Perth and never really got called it back home, not by my parents or anything. And then just when I've moved over here, it's just kind of stuck. People call me Limo. I guess it's a nickname for Liam, but it's stuck. I like it. It's probably better than some of the other nicknames I could have copped, but yeah.
Mate, if I had a vote, I would have called you Liam Goland, like Lewandowski, right? That's what I would have gone with, right? Because
I'd happily take that too.
Mate, if there's someone in the league that knows where the back of the net is and has stiffs out goals, it's you, mate. You just seem to be banging them in for fun year in, year out. But like I said, look, I don't mind Limo, but I think there's the Nemo sorts of things, and there's other from the Elmo and that. So I like it, but I would have probably gone closer to Liam Goland. So I might start referring to you as that if you don't mind. Not on the show, but in the future when I speak to people, I'm going to say, "Oh, how good Liam Goland."
Happily, mate. If you want to flick our media team and message you out that one,
I will, mate. I'm more than happy to do this. I did it a couple of weeks ago when I was doing a few things with Brendan Wyatt, who is the freak from MacArthur Bulls that ran the 160 kilometres or turned up to 170. Yeah. And I said to him, mate, obviously Brendan Wyatt, and I thought BMW, and he said, oh, my middle name's M. And I was like, I didn't know that, but that's why I claim BMW now, because the guy just rolls along, right? He's just an absolute machine. So, all right, we're going to lock in Goland. But, mate, I applaud you for a few years back for calling out the Usain Bolt insult to the NPL players. You'd scored 16 goals in 2018 and then were the Golden Boot winner with 22 the following season. Were you thinking, what the hell do I have to do for these A-League clubs to at least give me a chance to prove I can cut it or not?
Definitely at that point in my life and career, it was pretty frustrating, but not only for myself, but for my teammates and some of the other boys that I've played with in the league, who definitely, should have been at least given the opportunity to make the step up. I feel like we bring in enough imports in as it is in the A-League, let alone when it's a bit of a comical, bringing in a sprinter. So just to put some bums on seats, that's all it was, which was a bit frustrating. When you've seen a few of the boys go up to the next level from our level and, they've done well, and you're looking at players like Joe Knowles now, who's playing for Brisbane. I think he's a quality player, had a great season. Back in when Usain Bolt came, would have been lovely to just have a phone call from someone just to, have a trial or something, but wasn't to be. Now it doesn't frustrate me as much as it used to, because obviously I've got some perspective and, my life's a bit different now to what it was then, but, definitely frustrating at that time.
Mate, I don't see at the same time the track and field, European track and field associations coming and saying, "Oh, Liam Goland, do you want to come with us and do some sprinting?" So yeah, it doesn't work with other codes. We tried this, mate, and I'm glad you've chilled on it now, and you've obviously got a lot of other focus with family and other things. But it still burns me because of the fact that Usain Bolt doesn't know how to use his speed on the pitch. They pay him a through ball. He waits till it goes over the dead ball line, then he starts sprinting. It's like, mate, what sport are you playing? So I was very frustrated too, mate. And I think maybe for you, though, it was payback for the Mariners from the 2016 screamer that you scored that knocked him out of the cup. So I think maybe they found a way of getting to you, right? just to stick the knife in you and give you a bit of a hard time, because that is a cracking goal, and it would have hurt them, especially considering they were a A-League club and they were knocked out by an NPL club. But maybe you brought it on yourself.
We'll go with that. We'll go with that.
Mate, players like yourself and obviously Joey Katabian and obviously there's others at Avondale who impress you. But do you think there is still a hope for some of these guys if there is a B League, or do you think now the guys have kind of made peace with it? Maybe there's some younger guys there, but the guys who are heading towards 30, you kind of you've had a chance. You've done really well at NPL level, but the demands now with family and stuff is just too much.
I think it'll be interesting. I think there's going to be players who will obviously play in the B League who near that 30 age, and if in a couple of seasons, if they stay with that club and get promoted, they'll have a chance at that. But then there's definitely players within Avondale and within our league which can definitely go to the next level. We've got a couple at the moment. Christian Trajewski's probably having, I'd say, the best season out of anyone in the league at the moment. He'd have to be clear in the gold medal count. For us, he's killing it each week. So yeah, we've got Yate Towns as well in the midfield, who's been unbelievable for years now. Very surprised he's never had a crack at it, just with his consistency and just his ability, really. And then we've got a new signing this year at the back, Aidan Bryce from Melbourne Knights. He was captain there for a few years. He's been very good, been very impressed with him and how he's adapted to how we play football. So yeah, there's definitely players across the pitch. We've got Stefan Zinni, who's been in the league a couple of times, the A-League, and come out. He's back to his best form, ripping teams apart with his pace. So yeah, it's there's definitely players, and we've got a very strong team this year. But as I said, we just got to stay grounded with it.
Or I start getting too much hate mail from Avondale fans. I'm not encouraging the Avondale players to leave and go into the A-League, but I think from a personal point of view, you always got to look for your best to try and push themselves and go as high as they can. Yeah. Mate, if an A-League club came knocking now for you, and I know you'd probably say thanks, but no thanks, I've had plenty of time, and you had Bolton and instead of Goland, but that's your choice. But which club do you think would suit you the best? If you could pick any team now and they could drop you in, who do you think would give you the best service and give you the opportunity to show people what you can really do?
It's a tough one to say. Anyone with some good wingers for me to play with is always going to be, something for me, especially because I tend to drop in deep and try to create as well. But I'd love to go back home and play. To be honest, the only real trial I ever had was with Perth Glory when I was about 18, and I was about a 6-week trial. And they ended up telling me we've already got too many strikers. There was Taggart there, Macaronis at that time, who were similar age. Ended up going in that path, and that's when I stayed over there. But I don't know. I'd like to, if I was ever to do it, it would have been back home at Perth Glory that I'd like to play for, just because my mates would be able to watch me and things like that. But yeah, I wouldn't put a limit on it or anything like that. I'd just like to play with some wingers who like to, get in behind and even run underneath, because I'm a hold-up striker. So,
mate, if I had my choice, I would push you to Sydney with Mac and a few of those guys around you and Ryan Grant overlapping. I think that they could do with a number 9 that just knows how to find the back of the net every week. So that's where I'd be shipping you off, but we'll stay tuned on that. But mate, talking of, and I glossed over it quickly because it was obviously part of something else we're talking about, but Golden Boot winner in 2019 with 22. Have you still got the Golden Boot around there somewhere? Is it around the house? Is it a doorstop?
Yeah,
in the garage open?
It's packed away. It's in a box actually at one of my mates, because we live in an apartment here, and there's not, what it's like with the room. So it's there's I've got a few trophies around in that box, but hopefully I wouldn't mind winning it at least one more time. So before my little injury this year, I was equal top, but I think I'm 1 or 2 behind now after missing a couple of weeks. So hopefully can get one again.
Mate, it's an amazing achievement, and like I said, there's not many players that can say that they were the leading scorer in a very strong NPL league. But mate, I hear rumor has it that you're just giving the rest of the field a chance, right? So I don't reckon you're injured at all. You're 6 from 6 cruising. It was just easy for you. It was harder for you to actually miss than it was for you to score. So I hear now you just because you're such a good bloke, you're just giving the rest of the field a chance to catch up. So how many starts do you have to give these guys before you decide you got something to chase?
If it gets to more than 4, I'll be starting to worry about it. But nah. So I started the season pretty slow. I got crook just before the start of the year, and ended up losing my spot for a few weeks, coming off the bench. And so to get 6 in 6 after starting 3 off the bench, I was pretty stoked with that to my start of the year. But then I obviously had a little hamstring injury, which has come good now. So I'm hoping, I'll be back on the pitch, if not this week. Definitely next weekend against Oakley, which is a massive game. And I would love to find the back of the net in that one.
I'll be watching, hoping that you are back on the pitch. But, mate, last year you became a dad for the first time with little Harry Connor. When I first saw it, I was like, is he going Harry Connick here? Boland? I'm thinking, all right. But then I'm guessing there's a family name or something. But so congratulations to you and your wife.
Thanks, mate.
But why torture your son in a Spurs jersey? So I may have already burdened my son, but you didn't need to.
Well, my dad put me through the pain, so I only figured it'd be right for me to do the same. But it's been a tough one. I watch every game, unfortunately. Absolutely love my Spurs, even though probably it might be the biggest disconnect between the fans and the club there's ever been at the moment, just with the ownership and things like that. But Harry Connor Boland is my son's name, Connor after my brother. I don't know how he's managed to get that name, but he's done it. I've named him after my brother, middle name after my brother, but Harry after Harry Kane, mate. I love the name Harry, so why not?
Mate, I was going to say the way you've been playing the last couple of seasons is starting to be similar to what I see with Kane, because you're deadly up front, but you're dropping in a bit. So, like I said, I wasn't surprised when I found out you're a Spurs fan. But with little Harry turning 1 in May, maybe he's going to be heading to Perth like me and my son are to watch Spurs take on West Ham. So maybe you've surprised him with that, or maybe you haven't.
It'll be tough for me to get any time off from the club at that point. I think it's a crucial part of the season. So probably have to give it a miss, unfortunately. But my family are all going in Perth. But I've been to White Hart Lane, and I've seen Spurs in Sydney a few years back. But I don't think I'll be able to get across there this year, to be honest. Even though I'd love to, I'll have to take him to the new stadium because I haven't been. So I've heard it's incredible.
Mate, I'll fill you in all about it when I've been. I won't rub it in, but hopefully we have a good result and we get to meet a few of the players. I'll give you a bit of a summary. But
sounds good.
Mate, you're a goal scorer, a banker, a fisherman, a photographer. Which are you best at? It's a fair list there. It's a fair list of jobs. There's probably some more, but
I'd like to say goal scorer is my best, but photography I feel like is right up there and something that I love. Before the pandemic, I was enjoying it and doing it, every week. But now with the pandemic, when it came along, I had to find a more stable income, moved into banking, which I've really enjoyed. I was in a face-to-face role. And now obviously I'm on parental leave for a bit, but when I'm heading back, I wouldn't mind possibly moving up in that sort of thing, but I'll work for Westpac. So it's been good. Enjoying it. There's a challenge every day, different challenge every day, which is good and keeps exciting.
All right, mate. You've smashed that as per usual on the pitch. So, mate, I'd like to get into the first of the 2 games I like to play, which is called Six Aside, where we compare you and current teammates. But I'm going to put a little spin on it and leave this open so that you can include either current teammates or former teammates.
Sounds good.
Ready to roll?
Yep.
Who is the best dressed?
Oof, best dressed. If they're putting in effort, Dylan Jacoupy, our right back, he can pull off some good things. There's not too many. They're pretty cash.
How do you stack up against him? Do you make an effort when you go, or you just focused on the game and you don't care?
I'm a bit of a dad now, mate. I'll just keep it simple. I'm not trying to impress anyone. So
okay.
just short to the T for me. If it's the weather, goes with it, it's hard to wear that in Melbourne. But yeah, I'm pretty simple with jumper, and that's it for me. But yeah, Dylan Jacoby can pull off a turtleneck, and if he didn't have a career in football, he'd probably be a model. But
All right, nice rap from my teammate. Who sucks up to the coach the most? So is there someone that you just know there that, like I said, he might be a great bloke, he might be a friend, but you just know he just goes over the top to make sure he's going to get some minutes?
Yeah, there's a few in our team. There has been a few over the years as well.
Who's the worst?
Oh, I would say you could go a tie between Blake Carpenter and Dylan Jacoby at the moment. Both our fullbacks. They tend to have little competitions between themselves, and speak to Zoc, our coach, like he's their father. So I'd say those two are up there. And then you've got, as I said, Christian's flying this year, but they've got the little Macedonian link up, the coach and him, so they speak in Maso to each other. And I'd say, yeah, there's a few in our team, and there has been a few over the years who are no longer with us, but yeah.
You're not one of those, are you, mate?
Oh, not anymore. I might have been at the start.
All right, mate. But like I said, I think your return, right, your goal to game ratio gets you in anyway. You don't need to waste your time going there and spend extra time with the coach. Just get in the car and get home.
Yeah, that's right. I'll go with that as well, mate. Big raps.
Who takes the longest in the shower? Who's one of those guys that you just know that the hot water bill's through the roof, or it's going to cut out, right? So if you're not getting in there before these guys, A, you're not getting in, and B, there'll probably be no water left when you finally do.
Ute Towns likes a long shower. That's because he's plumbing all day at work, though. So I'll give him I'll give him on that one. But yeah, I'm in and out very quick in the shower. But I'd say Ute is a long shower.
All right. Who's the best golfer?
Well, we're all very similar in terms of handicap, and like I've played with Reedy, who's our captain, who's coming back from a big injury at the moment. So yeah, there's another. It'd be good to have him back. But Aiden Bryce, new signing. I haven't played with him yet, but I've heard he's pretty good.
But do I read into it when you say Reedy's good? Do I read into it that he's got better because he hasn't been playing football? So he's been
he's not able to play at the moment.
Okay, all right.
Done a knee, but yeah, Blake Carpenter, when he's on, he's good, but he loses his head a bit.
I heard he's good at everything. He's a singer, dancer, everything.
Yeah,
he's
very
not
talented.
a triple threat. I don't know what you call it when they're good at everything, a million things, but he's like a triple threat to the power of 10 or something.
Yeah, he hasn't got me on the golf course, but
he doesn't.
I've only played Reedy once, and he beat me, but he scores similar to what. It's very hard to say who would be the best. I'd have to say Aiden Bryce, just from what I've heard, even though I haven't played with him. But yeah, we're very similar in that mid to late 80s, hitting that sort of.
Oh, it's quite impressive. Does Avondale have like a yearly golf tournament or something, or it's just?
They're talking about it. The general manager, Tony Scrow, who I've got a good relationship with, obviously after being there for 6 years, he's a great bloke, and I play golf with him quite regularly. And he's talking about having a golf day, so hopefully we do, because it'll be a good laugh. I'd love to see Zocky having a swing of a golf club, to be honest. Can't imagine it'd be pretty.
But it'll be cracking field, considering you've got so many good golfers there. So the only team I've ever heard that has anyone even close is Sydney FC. They've got some Alfie and Luke Bratton. They've got some cracking players. But I don't know, maybe there could be an interstate showdown or something. Leave it with me. Let me have a look and see what we can get on.
It'd be quality. Put a video together for that. That'd be great. Sounds good.
Who's the best player you've ever played with? Or it could be a current player, or it could be someone you played with in the past.
It's tough. I played in Perth. I played with a player, Victor Sakura, who was Dutch Player of the Year. He played for Glory for a bit. He came to Florida Athena, the club I was at, for half a season. So he was a good player, even though he was at the end of his career. You could see how smart he was and how he created chances for me. But I lived in Brazil for a year when I was 16. I played with a couple of players there who are now pros. I played with Bernard, who was at Everton. He was tiny even back then when I was 16. I don't think he grew since then. But then there's another player who I'd have to say had the best feet I've ever seen. His name was João Pedro. He played, I'm not sure if he just moved, but he played for Cagliari in Italy for years. He scored a heap of goals in Serie A. But yeah, he would probably be the most talented, I would say. And yeah, his career's taken him pretty far now. So
Yeah,
impressive.
brilliant. Who would make the best superhero?
I would say we have a centre back, Kalu Kamara, who's just an absolute machine. Like the strongest guy I've probably ever played with. That training, just trains his heart out, trains the way he plays. And yeah, you love that from a centre back, you know, even though if you get on the end of a couple of bad tackles at training, he brings that every week and he's just so strong. So yeah, I'd probably have to say him.
Yeah, quality. All right, mate, let's get into the second game we like to play, which is called 1-2. You give me your thoughts on the following topics. Ready to go?
Yeah, sounds good.
What song best describes you?
I would say I like the song. Well, an anthem for me would be "I Write Sins, Not Tragedies."
I chime in with a haven't you people ever heard of closing a goddamn door? No, it's much better to face these kinds of things with a sense of poison.
I do love my music, but at events and things when that gets played, you know, along with the Killers as well. But when that gets played, you always seem to sing your lungs out, scream your lungs out to it. But it's good.
Mate, that's the music. The Killers is what I'd be playing for you when you come out, because everyone knows you're going out there to make sure you finish off the opposition. So I definitely, over the loudspeaker at Avondale Stadium, I'd have that cranking. I think I'm going to try and get that across the line as well as Goland, I think. So leave it to me.
All right, sounds good.
Your thoughts on the gaffer, Zoran Markovsky?
Yeah, I have a great relationship with Zoc. I've been with him for 6 years now. I think it's my sixth season. He's definitely got the best out of me with my football. Definitely added, I would say, a work rate to my game, which I didn't previously have when I first came to Avondale. And we play a great brand of football, so I've been able to get involved with that as, yeah, I'm a hold-up striker. So, yeah, great relationship with Zoc, and I appreciate what he's done for me.
Mate, I know, like I said, your fans don't want to hear this, but can you see him going to the A-League in the coming seasons?
I could see him definitely. I think he would probably, if we get the B-League, I think he would be able to take Avondale there in the future. It's just I don't think he would leave Avondale in that sense to go.
I love loyalty, mate. If he's going to stay with you guys, I love the guy. If he's got a group of players that he's happy with, and he's playing a brand of football which is his brand, then mate, there's no need to leave. So
yeah, I think he enjoys it. I think he enjoys it at the club, and I think he wants to be the man to take Avondale as far as they can go, really. So, I mean, there's no limit in terms of if it's to the A-League or whatever in 10 years' time, then if that's the club's plan, I'm sure he'd love to be a part of that.
Mate, it's scary even thinking about it, isn't it? Avondale, yeah, the A-League is amazing. So hopefully these guys get everything organised, and we get this second-tier competition, so we can eventually start having, you know, promotion, relegation, and being like the rest of the leagues in the world, instead of being the leper on the outside, right? That's so different.
I feel like it's only going to be, it's definitely a positive, and I feel like it's only going to drag more people into the sport. Especially, we have a heap of football fans in Australia who aren't connected to the A-League, and I feel like bringing in promotion and relegation may be something that, you know, gets them into it a bit more. For myself as well, personally, I don't watch a heap of it because of it, and I think if we brought in promotion and relegation, probably scrap the finals as well. I think that would be a great step, and I'd definitely probably be a lot more interested in it.
I agree. Something you've always wanted to do but have never tried?
It's a tough one.
I think now you've got a child too. Some
skydiving?
Of those the list. Yeah, I was going to say some of those have probably dropped off the list now. Your wife's probably said to you, you've got a son, these ones are, see those ones on your bucket list, just cross those 16 out.
I'd say skydiving and maybe hot air ballooning as well. Haven't done those.
Okay.
But yeah, I'd say I've got a drone which I use for photography, so I'd say it's a similar view as to what I can see from there. But yeah, I'd say those two.
All right, cool. Your cooking skills?
Terrible, mate.
You're not good?
Terrible. Pretty average.
I don't know any strikers, good strikers that are cooks, mate. I think these are the rarest thing on the planet.
It doesn't help me that my wife's probably the best cook you'll come across as well. Okay. I'm pretty spoilt in that sense. Yeah, there's not a family member or a friend of mine who's ever said a bad word about her cooking. I absolutely love it. So she actually used to do like a Friday night dinner for a few of the lads when they first, like interstate boys, when they first moved over Yeah, before the pandemic, we used to do that, and they absolutely love the food. So I'm very lucky in that sense. But yeah, I'm going to have to lift my game. The only thing I've got is I can make a bagel from scratch, and it's pretty good, mate.
Mate, so what's the plan? So if your wife goes out and leaves you with Harry, is he going to starve? What's what's the deal?
That's where I'm going to have to lift my game. At the moment, everything's prepared, and she has it all prepared. But yeah, I can only do the basics, mate, like cooking meat and pastas and pizzas, and from scratch that is. But
mate, this is starting to sound a bit like Avondale, right? You're the man that's in the back of the net, but she's the general that calls all the shots, like the others.
Yeah, she's the facilitator.
I can start to see a real common trend. All right, languages. You did mention before that the boys speak Macedonian, that sort of thing. Are you any good at languages? Can you speak anything other than English?
When I was younger, I obviously lived overseas for that year, and I got a pretty good understanding of like the Brazilian Portuguese. It's a bit different to Portuguese, a bit more slang to it and things like that. But I don't have it. That was 15 years ago now, so I lost it basically completely because I had no one to speak to over here.
Okay.
But yeah, I used to understand it pretty well. So I'd say if I lived over there again, it wouldn't take as long to pick it up because there is some things I understand. But yeah, I don't speak it, not in any sense. But no languages.
You're good at languages though. But like I said, if you pick them up good, I'm hopeless. I could live somewhere for a million years. I won't pick it up. And if I come back, I'd forget nothing because I wouldn't remember anything. So, yeah, that's good, mate, if you got that. What's your worst habit?
I'd say probably spend a bit too much time on the computer at night, a bit of gaming and that with my mates.
You're a gamer? Mate, what do you play?
I used to play FIFA a lot, but now it's I play a few like PC games and things like that. And they just released a golf game as well, which I've given it a crack. But it's a way for me to speak to all my best mates back in Perth. So
yep.
I definitely don't do it anywhere near as much as I used to. But I don't mind it for a couple of hours a night.
I don't know if the wife buys that excuse, but my young fella plays with my nephew and his mates too, and it's a good way for him to connect when it's hard to get around this day and everyone's busy and he's got training 3 nights a week. So, mate, if I give him a pass, I have to give you one as well. So,
thanks, mate.
All right, celebrity crush, male or female, could be a sports star, could be any genre you like.
Yeah, it's I'm a bit of a Star Wars fan. Always loved Natalie Portman.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say she'd have to be up there.
All
Natalie
right.
Portman probably be the one, yeah.
There's a lot worse choices, so we can lock that one in.
Yeah.
Remembering special occasions, i.e. birthdays, anniversaries. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm pretty good for the most part, although my old boss, who's a good mate of mine now, forgot his birthday in March. But normally I'm pretty good with it, yeah.
Mate, like I said to you, I'd be really concerned if a guy who's in banking and things where you need a great sense of the detail couldn't remember birthdays, anniversary. I'd be very scared. But
there's a lot of numbers,
mate, and I reckon I'm pretty sure we could get you to tell us exactly how many goals you scored every season for last.
I've never missed a family, like direct family or anything like that. So,
all right, cool. And if you could be anyone for a day, who would you choose?
Tough to go past Lionel Messi, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
be tough to go past that.
I think he's at the top of everyone's list, and then maybe there's a few others as a second and third choice. But yeah, it'd be hard to go past a little Argentinian maestro, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if it's football we're talking about, I definitely want to do that. But if it's something different, maybe someone like Ryan Reynolds.
Okay.
You're a movie star, you own a football club, you got the best of both worlds. So, Wrexham look like they're about to get promoted. Have you watched the first season of that?
No, I haven't. I've watched Ted Lasso, which is absolutely fantastic, but I haven't watched the Wrexham one. Have you watched it?
Get yourself onto that. It's really, really good. And the second season, I'd say they'll definitely be doing it. That'll be them getting promoted. So it's definitely worth watching.
Mate, and if we wanted to go really, really far-fetched who you could be for a day, we could pick a chef.
A chef, yeah.
But Gordon Ramsay or Jamie Oliver or something like that, right?
Yeah,
that's a real
I've seen it. My wife watches a heap of cooking shows on Netflix.
That's more of a stretch, mate, than saying you being Messi for the day.
Yeah, definitely. Probably is.
All right, mate. I know you're a very busy man, mate, and so we're going to let you go, but we appreciate you being on the show. Good luck with the season with Avondale and with the injury and getting back on the pitch. We wish you all the best with young Harry Connor. We hope he turns out to be as big a star as his dad, and also good luck chasing another golden boot this year and getting back into the photography. But, mate, we wish you all the best, and we'll check back in with you during the season, and hopefully you guys are still top of the table.
Been a pleasure. Hopefully you can get back on here another time, and I might have a golden boot in the premiership. So hopefully that's what's in store for the end of the year with Avondale. But yeah, as I said, we'll take it one game at a time. But it's been a pleasure, mate.
Fingers crossed, mate. All the best, and thanks again for being on the Football Revolution.
Thank you. You have a good one.